Oh, hey there. Hi, my name's Chris Chadwick, and this, my friend, is clinical research. So what exactly is clinical research? Clinical research is health-related studies in human beings that follow a predefined protocol. Clinical research follows 3 phases. It all starts when a biochemist has an idea for a new drug. The drug is then created, and then it enters the Phase 1 study. Phase 1 studies are primarily concerned with assessing the drug's safety. This initial phase of testing in human beings is done in a small number of healthy volunteers, normally around 20 to 100, who are usually paid for participating in the study. The study is designed to determine what happens to the drug in the human body, how it is absorbed, metabolized, and excreted. A Phase 1 study will investigate side effects that occur as dosage levels are increased. This initial phase of testing typically takes several months. About 70% of experimental drugs pass this initial phase of testing. The primary aim of the biochemist is to get his drug really safe at really high dosages. Next is the Phase 2 study. Once a drug has been shown to be safe, it must be tested for levels of effectiveness. This second phase of testing may last from several months to several years and involve up to several hundred patients. Most Phase 2 studies are randomized trials. One group of patients will receive the experimental drug, while a second control group will receive a standard treatment or placebo. Often, these studies are blinded. Neither the patients nor the researchers know who's getting the experimental drug. In this manner, the study can provide the pharmaceutical company and the FDA, or Food and Drug Administration, comparative information about the relative safety of the new drug and its effectiveness. Only about 1/3 of experimental drugs successfully complete both Phase 1 and Phase 2 studies. On to the Phase 3 study. In a Phase 3 study, a drug is tested in several hundred to several thousand patients. This large-scale testing provides the pharmaceutical company and the FDA with a more thorough understanding of the drug's effectiveness, benefits, and the range of possible adverse reactions. Most Phase 3 studies are randomized and blinded trials, meaning that the patient doesn't know if they're getting the placebo or the actual drug. Phase 3 studies typically last several years. 70 to 90% of drugs that enter Phase 3 studies successfully complete this phase of testing. Once a Phase 3 study is successfully completed, a pharmaceutical company can request FDA approval for marketing the drug. Last, the post-marketing phase. In this late phase, pharmaceutical companies have several objectives. Number 1, studies often compare a drug with other drugs already in the market. Number 2, studies are often designed to monitor a drug's long-term effectiveness and impact on the patient's quality of life. Number 3, many studies are designed to determine the cost of effectiveness of a drug therapy relative to other traditional and new therapies. So what's so important about clinical research? Why should you even care? Clinical research is beneficial to you as a patient because you will have access to medical professionals in your area of need. If you have any questions or concerns, the doctors are readily available and they can help you out. Although you may get the placebo or the fake drug, you could get the real drug and it might actually help you out. So why is clinical research beneficial to you? You're not a patient, why should you care? Clinical research is beneficial to society because without the drugs being properly tested in human beings like you and me, they would never safely make their way over the counter. I don't know about you, but I don't want to buy any drugs that have not been safely tested. Could cause harm, even death, you never know. So why is clinical research beneficial to the future? Well, without clinical research, there might not be a future. Well, you may ask, how do I know all these things? Well, I'm glad to say, over summer, I did an internship at UCSD Medical Center in the clinical research department. At the medical center, I learned some pretty amazing stuff about sleep apnea. More than 40 million Americans of all ages suffer from sleep disorders. Failure to get adequate sleep not only affects our mental and physical health, but also poses a danger to society
by contributing to traffic and industrial accidents. Some sleep disorders can even be life-threatening. The most common symptoms include loud snoring, sleepiness during the day, high blood pressure, and obesity. A bed partner will often report that the patient will stop breathing during the night. Untreated sleep apnea may cause cardiovascular disease, risk of automobile accidents, and decreased quality of life at work. Blocked or narrow airways in your nose, mouth, or throat can cause sleep apnea. Your airway can become blocked when your throat muscles and tongue relax during sleep. Mild sleep apnea can be treated by things like losing weight, but obstructive sleep apnea can be treated with things such as the CPAP machine. CPAP stands for Continuous Positive Airway Pressure Therapy, which uses a machine to help a person with obstructive sleep apnea breathe more easily during sleep. A CPAP machine increases air pressure in your throat so that your airway does not collapse when you breathe in. When you use a CPAP, your bed partner may also sleep better too. You use CPAP at home every night while you sleep. The CPAP machine will have one of the following: a mask that covers your nose and mouth, a mask that covers your nose only, and prongs that fit into your mouth. If you think you might have sleep apnea, you should check in with a clinical research center located nearest to you to help out.
I observed many things. One thing I observed was when patients come in, they're a little nervous and apprehensive at first. Yet when they're briefed about the whole trial, they're less nervous. A lot of them ask, well, how am I going to get paid? I got a job. I need money. Well, they're compensated for their time, so they pay them. It's not great, but it's enough to cover it. I also learned that a lot of work goes on behind the scenes. To ensure that the patient's private information would never meet anybody's eyes, I would have to shred tons of papers every day. Also, there was so much data entry that it would make your head spin. There's also a lot of problems facing clinical research right now. Clinical research takes a lot of time and money, and this funding comes from taxes, but people don't understand why they're paying for these taxes because they don't understand what clinical research is. That's why we need you. Another problem with clinical research is there's not enough diversity of the patients. Most of the people that go into clinical research look like this, when we need more people like this, and this, and this, and this, and this. Everyone reacts differently to drugs. It is proven that women react differently than men. So why is there only men in clinical research? Women, you need to get out there and do your part. Lastly, not enough people know what clinical research is. There's not enough education about it. So why would anybody go into something that they don't know anything about? So please help out. There's clinical research centers everywhere. Whether you want to be a patient, you want to help fund, or you want to help educate the public. Without you, clinical research may cease to exist.